Your past is not your prison. Stoicism and the power to heal. Childhood trauma, emotional healing, and inner freedom. There are pains that words can barely hold. Memories that sit quietly in the corners of your mind. Not because they faded, but because touching them still burns. They're the kind of memories you carry like invisible weight, always there, even on the days you smile. Maybe you've tried to outrun them, keeping yourself busy so you wouldn't feel. Maybe you buried them, believing that if you locked them away, they couldn't hurt you anymore. Maybe you told yourself, I'm fine. But deep down, you know you've only learned to survive, not to heal. Stoicism teaches something different. True healing isn't pretending the wound was never there. It isn't silencing your pain behind walls of strength. It's turning toward what hurt you, standing in its shadow and saying, you don't get to define me anymore. You are not what happened to you, and your past is not your prison. You didn't choose it, but you carry it. Maybe your childhood wasn't safe. Maybe love had conditions, approval that had to be earned. Maybe silence became your only shield, and pretending became your survival strategy. You learned to walk on eggshells. You learned to hide the parts of yourself that were too much. You learned that love could be taken away, so you made yourself small enough to keep it. The Stoics understood this kind of suffering. Marcus Aurelius buried 8 of his children and still rose every day to lead an empire. Epictetus was born into slavery, beaten so badly by his master that he walked with a limp for the rest of his life. Seneca was exiled by the very emperor he served, betrayed by friends, and ordered to take his own life. They didn't deny pain. They didn't pretend it didn't matter. They simply refused to let it own them. The truth is, you cannot rewrite the past, but you can choose how it shapes your present. Your pain can be a chain, or it can be a key. The choice is yours, and you are not what hurt you. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. You were abandoned, but you are not abandoned. You were unloved, but you are not unlovable. You were overlooked, but you are not invisible. These things happened to you, but they are not you. What happened is a chapter in your story, not the title of your book. And healing begins the moment you stop letting old wounds speak for you. When you stop saying, I am broken, and start saying, I am healing. When you stop saying, I am what they did to me, and start saying, I am what I choose to become. You are not defined by the cruelty you endured. You are defined by the courage it took to survive it, and the wisdom it takes to rise from it. Ascent, reclaiming your mind. In Stoicism, there is a practice called ascent. It means that you have the power to choose which thoughts are allowed into your mind and which are left outside. Maybe someone told you, you're not enough, you're too much, you'll never change. Those words, if left unchecked, can echo in your head for years. They can shape the way you see yourself. They can become self-fulfilling prophecies. But here's what the Stoics would tell you. You are the gatekeeper of your own mind. You can say, I refuse to let that belief live here anymore. I am not their opinion of me. I will not let the past speak louder than my present. This isn't denial, it's self-liberation. It's the act of choosing freedom, not waiting for someone else to hand it to you. Don't seek revenge, seek virtue. The world says, make them regret it. The world says, show them what they lost. But the Stoics say, don't become what hurt you, become what frees you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The truth is, you don't need to fight with ghosts. You don't need to win in their eyes. Your healing isn't about them. It's about you. Real victory is peace. Peace that comes from choosing virtue over bitterness. Peace that appears as calm when others expect anger, as kindness when life has tried to make you hard. That's the power they don't expect. To rise without hate, to heal without needing their apology. The stillness you deserve. Stillness isn't forgetting. It isn't erasing what happened. It's when the memory no longer commands the weather inside you. You survived without the love you needed. Now you give that love to yourself, without permission, without conditions. You swallowed tears as a child. Now you can cry them out and let them cleanse what silence could not. You lived afraid of being too much. Now you take up the space you were always worthy of. This is your power. and no one can take it away. Not anymore. Turning pain into purpose. The Stoics believe that nothing is wasted, not even suffering. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your pain is not meaningless. It can be the thing that awakens compassion in you for others. It can be the reason you speak up when someone else is being silenced. It can be the fire that drives you to build a life rooted in truth, not fear. Pain changes us, but it's up to us whether it hardens our hearts or opens them. And when you choose to turn your pain into purpose, something extraordinary happens. The very thing that once broke you becomes the thing that builds others. You don't need to stand on a stage or write a book to make that difference. Sometimes it's as simple as listening when no one else will. Sometimes it's telling someone, "I've been there, and you're not alone." That is how healing ripples outward. You are the author now. You are not the chaos you came from. You are not the silence forced upon you. You are not the pain that shaped you. You are the one who woke up and said, "This pain stops with me." The Stoics never promised life would be gentle. They promised that virtue, honesty, courage, self-respect would make it worth living. So let today be a turning point. Not the day you forget, but the day you begin to become. Your past is not your prison. It is the place you began. But it does not get to decide where you go next. Your quiet revolution. Thank you for being here. If these words stirred something inside you, don't let them fade into the background of another day. Leave a comment, share your story, help someone else feel seen, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Not just for more videos, but for a reminder whenever you need it. You are not alone, you are healing, and that is a quiet kind of revolution.